Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
Jenkins, Bamboo, Circle CI, uh, uh, Team City, a lot of tools are there. When it comes to the infrastructure automation, infrastructure management, people use Chef, Puppet, Ansible, SaltStack, and whatnot. And when it comes to the packaging or building, so people might have different types of build tools, Maven, Gradle build, or some other build utility. So the point here is it's more of a practical implementation, and hence you have to have the understanding of a more broader category of tools in order to get a complete grasp of the entire SDLC cycle. Now, you might not work on all the utilities. You might work on 2 utilities, 3 utilities, or some part of the entire project pipeline. But whatever site that you work on and whatever tools that you are interacting with, you have to know that in order to know its behavior and be able to uh, uh, positively contribute towards your team projects. For example, for infrastructure guys, a lot of things were dependent upon shell scripts and the generic management. For them, the infrastructure management has completely been automated. So not only infrastructure provisioning, but infrastructure management has also been automated. So for provisioning, you will use tools like CloudFormation, Terraform, a cloud deployment manager with GCP, so on and so forth. And for management, you will use a certain category of tools. So the choice of tools can vary. And when, let's say, you have a project and someone says you as an architect, okay, what are the tools that we should go with, then the decision making will totally depend upon what kind of application do you have, how are you going to categorize it, uh, what all tool set, whatever tool set that you pick and choose should integrate very well each other, because if they don't, then you cannot really achieve the end-to-end automation. That is the entire purpose. So whatever tools which are involved, will try to understand some of these utilities, and I'll also tell you how you can look upon the other tools which are out there. Now, just a little bit of theory on how DevOps was invented, or you can say how this philosophy grew up. So someone in 2007 faced a lot of challenges making developer and operations collaborate, which eventually caused the project delay. Hence, the quest for solution began. So somebody in 2007 had agile into their project, but they faced a lot of challenges, but couldn't find it. Then there were a lot of people, those who came about. There's this guy called Patrick, who is also called as DevOps founder. He and a couple of people eventually got into some kind of a meetings, and they figured out if we somehow can automate and make our development and operations talk, then we can eventually achieve a better delivery method. And that's how the DevOps first came into the existence. And once they came up with the philosophical approach towards DevOps, that okay, we can automate the infrastructure automation, we can implement the automation towards build phase, we can implement automation towards the test cases, then people started building utilities around it. And Patrick Dubois is one of the guy who is regarded very highly in the DevOps community, and is also considered one of the founding members of DevOps. And gradually the momentum took up, and people started building tools, and then it all became integrated into it. Now, if we talk about our generic SDLC flow, these are all 5 phases that every project has to go through. The theoretical things that we have read in college. uh, read about the disadvantages of waterfall method, that why did we really move towards Scrum. And DevOps is not really challenging Scrum in any ways. Scrum can still be there with DevOps in place. So you can continue to have Scrum calls, and the project planning can continue to be the same way. The only thing is, more of the practical aspects you will implement with DevOps. You will change those things. Uh, why did we move from waterfall to Scrum? So within waterfall, there were a lot of challenges, right? We have seen how bulkier it was and how waterfall was more suited for monolithic applications, which were built and packaged in a single go. Uh, there was no backward compatibility. So once you moved on, you couldn't go back and fix it. And because the entire source code was packaged as a big application, at any point in time, if you had to change anything, it was always a challenge. So we all know about these things, right? Any questions on this? Now, once the agile came up, okay, a lot of things we wanted to fix. And how did we fix them? So we focused broadly on the customer satisfaction. A lot of our development and testing was oriented towards the client discussions and collecting the inputs, rather than delivering your software in months. We started delivering them within the span of weeks. Just read them about and let me know if you would like me to explain anything. Any point that you would like me to explain around agile, let me know. I'm not going through because we already have been into these kind of environments with one or the other field. And then we had the Scrum coming into the picture. Now Scrum came up with a lot of different terminologies. A backlog had to be cleared as soon as possible. We used to plan small sprints with small features. There used to be product owners. Scrum master would held every day uh, calls and will be responsible for the entire deliverable and communication. So all these things happen, right? Now, do we agree with the evolution? How did we evolve? Ask any questions around it till now, whatever we have read or discussed around. Do you agree that there were some significant flaws in agile methodologies which needed to be fixed, or you don't agree with them?
Agree with it, Himanshu. Yeah, there were a lot of flaws in that that were all fixed.
Right, yes. So we know what we were doing previously had a lot of flaws. Now moving on to what's coming up. Okay, so how does DevOps teams are built? Let's try and understand that first of all. So when it comes to the DevOps, uh, most of the agile or Scrum, they mostly focused on two things. One was people, and the other thing that they focused on was processes. Okay, but the thing with the DevOps is it not only focuses on people and the processes, it also focuses a lot on the tools. Okay, so it brings in a whole new set of tools into your project. And we have seen, right, in last 4 or 5 years, we hear so many new names of the tool sets that people adopt, right? And each of them does one or the other things. So what you actually try doing is, with people, you try to change the way culture works. When we adopted Scrum, we did change a lot of things, right? That there will be Scrum Master, people will report its updates to Scrum Master. Scrum Master will also get access to project catalog and will know what's going on in the entire project catalog, right? Now, those things have become a little more broader. Theoretically, you can still have Scrum in place, but from the implementation perspective, the DevOps ecosystem will eventually drive it. And how will it drive it? On based upon three pillars. People, those who will contribute towards the right culture, adopting right DevOps philosophy, and making sure that your release cycles are getting reduced very quickly and are proactive with it. Now, what kind of processes you will set up? So processes in terms of everybody who is working at any place in your DevOps pipeline will not only be forward looking, but will also be reporting back the issues backward. So this will make sure that there is a tight coupling between your teams, and a lot of new processes will evolve. For example, the entire build process might change, the entire deployment process might change, and you will integrate those processes together with the help of tools. Now, the tools you can pick and choose depending upon your project and the capabilities that you have. But once you adopt the tools, right, the people that who are working on the project have to be very good with the tools and the processes. If someone joins into your team and they are not really aware of the entire 360-degree outlook of how the process and the tool set that integrates with each other works, the process will fail at some point in time, right? So you have to make sure that people know it very well. Okay, that which tools are they using, how are they integrated. Now let's talk a little bit about DevOps culture, what the culture is built up of. Now, it is actually a process change in entire development to production. So entire approach changes. How do you look at it? It's implemented using DevOps products at each stage of your product build. Integration, collaboration between tools has to be configured, and they have to be intercompatible with each other. It's a cultural change, promoting better collaboration and more automation. Now, focus on the words collaboration. Now, what kind of collaboration are we talking about? Collaboration among everybody, be it developers, testers, your infrastructure guys. Everybody should be able to communicate with each other eventually very well. It is nothing but eventually the extension of agile movement with more focused and collaborative approach. Now, this was the old way of moving your build phase and taking it to the production. So there used to be a handoff, and once the handoff has taken place, it was the responsibility of the other team. Now, in the old way, we were always forward looking. That means what's being done, we never really bothered about it. Whatever we got, we'll always work onto it and we'll pass on to the next team. And the next team will use our documentation to further move forward. They were not backward compatible. And hence, any major changes that has to be done were to be initiated from the ground zero. But that's not the approach in the new approach. In the DevOps approach, what we do is, in a lot of projects, you must have heard of a team called DevOps team. There will be 3-4 people who are looking up at a bunch of tools integrated with each other and will talk to different teams. Some of the teams even have what we call as they continue with the Scrum methodology, but now these DevOps guys also participate in this Scrum call. Okay, and they will know, okay, when a new build is going to come up, when a set of new tests are going to get executed, or how a product is supposed to be staged or released into the production. So these guys will eventually remain in control of what's going on and will help different teams collaborate with each other. And eventually the DevOps team can also have multiple teams within them. Okay, people responsible for CI/CD tools, people responsible for writing scripts, people responsible for working on the infrastructure side, and eventually the entire ecosystem works with each other to make everything go smooth. So what are the broader challenges in adoption? So one of the challenges that how do people understand what DevOps is and to know the tool set? For example, once you start working within this team, okay, you have to have an idea how source code repositories work. Okay, Now, if you are using a centralized, decentralized source code repositories, how does that work? You have to know it. How the different testing utilities work, and how you can integrate those testing utilities within your DevOps toolset. Whether you are doing white box testing, black box testing, how those testing results are to be communicated back to QA team, uh, 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 how the UI test or integration test or different kinds of testing utilities can integrate with your tool set. You have to know it. You have to understand how the infrastructure is created, how the infrastructure can be managed. So all those things have to be very much documented and centrally controlled by these guys. Now, it's not necessary for everybody in the DevOps team to know everything. You might have a DevOps team which has a collection of people. Let's say I have 8 to 10 people. Two of them are script writers. Others are good with the continuous integration, continuous delivery tools. Others are probably the infrastructure guys who are good within infrastructure management and writing it. So you will need people from different aspects in there. One of the broader challenge which comes in is the adoption of new tools and putting them in place. So when people start with DevOps adoption, they might not start all the way. They might start with one thing and then take step-by-step approach. These are the advantages of DevOps, which you should have. There can be even more, but these are the necessary things. Think of them and ask many questions on it.
Can you please explain what loosely coupled architectures mean here?
Okay. See, when I say loosely coupled architectures, what we mean is eventually all the tool sets are integrated with each other, right? So, for example, if you look at this thing, right? So let's say if anywhere anything used to break down, right? A through review of the previous phases has to be done. Okay, and that used to take a very long time to figure out, okay, why did something break down and how we can fix it. Now, in case of DevOps, rather than doing the larger builds, you often do smaller builds. And those smaller builds eventually help you figure out, okay, if something has broken, where did it break and how you can fix it. Allows you to quicker turnaround time. And in terms of loosely architecture things, so for example, let's say you have a continuous integration tool, Jenkins, and you would like to cover a code review. Okay, that you have certain practices which are mentioned uh, uh, when your developers write the code, right? So what do? Is you integrate your code review tool with the Jenkins. So the moment the code goes into the code repository, your code review tool comes into the picture. It will read from the branch before the code gets merged with the master branch, and will review the entire source code. Now, if the code which has gone into the code repository is not following the practices, okay, if it failed there, then it will not really move forward. It will stop right there. You fix it, okay, then it will move forward. Now, the advantage of this approach is even if the entire build process has failed at any place, it will not really impact everything in a single go, and you will know uh, how to fix it there and then. So this loose coupling between different tool sets and different processes gives you more broader control. So when we say loosely coupled architectures, uh, what we mean is that loose coupling between your SDLC cycle processes.
Understood. Thank you, Himanshu.
The other key thing here is the stable operating environments. Now, uh, let me take you through each of these. So first of all, continuous software delivery, what we mean is that uh, unlike doing a build once a week, now DevOps preaches on doing the build as soon as the code is available. Okay, the entire testing code review process should be done as soon as new code has come into. So the software delivery becomes very continuous. It's all automated, so you don't have to someone manually do it. It'll all be done automatically. Shorter release cycles, that's one thing that you should eventually get. More automation, less roadblocks. So because each of the tool sets will integrate with each other, there will not be manual intervention much. Faster bug fixes, we understand. Now, what do we mean by this stable operating environments? So DevOps has different principles. Okay, so once we start talking about the utilities, I'll also talk about these principles. These principles can vary, and one of the principle is that your infrastructure should be untouchable. Okay, so whether you are deploying your application into dev or prod, okay, you should never really touch them. You will never really go to them and you will micromanage them. Your infrastructure team will probably use remote management utilities to manage them. And hence, a lot of times issues that we face, right, that the code was working fine with one environment, but when it moved to some other environment, it started breaking down. So those things will never really happen in this case. Okay, guys, do one thing. Have you all received an email with some Windows machine credentials?
Yes, Himanshu.
Yeah. Okay. Please connect to the Windows machine with your credentials. Let me know if anybody is not able to connect with the Windows machine.
Himanshu, I have not received the credentials yet.
Okay. When are you
Jamil
there?
here.
Yes, Himanshu.
Okay. Please look into the issue with Jamil. So, guys, if you have not received the Windows credentials, Vinay is there to help you.
Please send me the email ID in the personal chat box. I will look into it.
Yeah, Vinay, it's on the chat.
I have clicked on Cloud Lab directly from Spring People, so it didn't prompt with asking me username and password. It directly took me to the remote Windows machine. Is that fine or?
Yes, Siddharth, that's fine. But do you have the credentials? Did you get them in the email?
Not in email, but I haven't used anything. It directly took me to the remote server.
Okay, you are connected now?
Yeah, I'm connected, but without entering any credentials.
Yeah, that's good enough, I think.
What is the computer name where it is mentioned, Vinay?
Sorry, come again.
I mean, in the remote desktop connection, we'll have to enter the computer name, right? So what is the name and where it is available?
No, the direct access is given. So if you click go to lab, it will directly get into the Windows lab.
Yeah,
You don't have to.
inside the Windows.
Inside the Windows, the Himanshu will guide you further. Don't open any
Okay.
RDP at all. So probably the
Okay.
next step will be to get onto the AWS lab, and then Himanshu will guide.
All right. So I'm in the Windows. That's fine, right? Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
right.
completely fine. And Jamil, the email has been shared to you. Kindly check.
Sure, Vinay. I'm checking.
So guys, anyone else who is facing any issue regarding connectivity and anything, please let me know.
Just one question. We can use any browser, right? We don't have any dependencies with the browsers.
No,
Yeah, any
Siddharth, you
browser.
don't have, right.
Sorry.
You don't have any dependency, but I recommend that you use Chrome. Okay.
Yeah,
There's no
Chrome will
dependency.
be better in terms of performance. Yeah, right.
Great, guys. Now that you are connected with the Windows machine, let's get the Amazon Web Services credentials so that we know how you can connect with this. Mhm. Vinay, who is here from to share the AWS credentials?
Himanshu, Akshay will be there.
I don't see Akshay there.
Akshay, you're there, right?
Okay.
Kindly
Yeah,
unmute
I'm
yourself.
here. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
here.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi,
So
Akshay.
all are logged in their Windows machine. Hello.
Yes, we are logged in.
Yes, we are logged in.
Yeah, we
Okay.
are logged.
Please log in, everyone. Open a browser and log in into course and labs. I'm typing the URL here in the chat so that everybody can use it.
Guys, once you are logged on to the Windows machine, please open up this URL, which is on your screen. I'll be mentioning all the steps in the document using which you will be able to access it.
Himanshu, I've mentioned the website URL in the chat.
Vinay, I've still not received the email. Jamil.
Jamil, we have sent the email twice to you. Kindly check spam and other things.
I did that. Let me
Then
recheck.
click on account on top right. Himanshu, can you note down the step-by-step process? It will be easy.
Yes, sure.
Then click on account on top right corner. Click on account. Then there will come a sign up. Go for register. Click on no. Yeah, you are already registered, but ask other people to go for register.
Sure.
Click on register. Click on register. Okay. Then you will get a mail, and that you have to put an OTP from your mail. Once you're done, you can just directly log in here. Log in. And please only use business email ID because Gmail and email IDs will not be accepted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now on the top right corner, there's a button called join class. Yes. Click that join class. In the class ID, I'm just copy pasting it so that you can just directly.
Please enroll our general membership for $399 plan to get access of all the parts.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.